Well, Giles Malone here with Space Coast Daily here in London, just outside of London at Gatwick Airport, and we're here with David Brown from Peterborough. Now, David, big referendum decision recently. I understand that you are voting to remain in the EU. What are your feelings now today?
Yeah, I did vote to stay in. That was certainly my preference. Still got mixed feelings as whether we voted to come out. I think there's a lot of unknowns, which is why I think there was a lot of people starting to stay in. A lot of business people were looking at staying in to keep the trade agreements, to keep the flow of goods, the import and export across Europe being fairly good. So that's why I think they want to stay in.
Now, what ways do you think it's going to affect you and your family with the vote to leave?
I think it's still an unknown at this point in time. I think there's a lot of unknowns. I think there's been an initial drop in the stock market. I think the house prices have generally taken a fall. Exchange rates have changed as well for the worse for the UK. But like everything, I think that's possibly a blip. I think it might improve in the short to medium term, and long term. I think that once the trade agreements are agreed, are in place, I think they'll move on again. There's a lot of we don't just trade with Europe; we import from a lot of places in the world, not just Europe, and export as well. So I think there's just a small part of our economy and our trade. So I think time will tell. Time will tell.
Well, you're still a young man. I guess England joined the EU, or Great Britain joined the EU 44 years ago, I believe. That's a long time, and a lot of things have happened over that course of time. What are some of the things that you think have improved people's lives by being in the EU during that time?
Well, I think things like the working time directive. I think the border controls are easier to go for the working man, the normal man to cross. Healthcare and things like that throughout Europe are a lot better. I think that's tarnished. The other side against that is the immigration that's going on. So, and again, it's been in place a long while, and I think there has been improvements over that time. I think there's a lot of difficulties with the European monetary rates and the single currency that are yet to be sorted, though we're still separate with our currency. So yeah, I think that there has been things that have improved. I think Brussels themselves and the actual the European Commission do use a lot of income, but we do get some back. So I think there's a lot of stories in the UK press and the UK campaigns from both exit and leave that were extending the truth, I think, to almost scaremongering the normal populace that probably don't understand politics as well as they do, exchange rate mechanisms, of which I, for one, certainly don't profess to agree or understand fully.
Now, in the United States, immigration is a very hot topic at the moment. You know, people like Donald Trump running for president, talking about building a big wall, and that really gets people's attention. I guess, you know, immigration and that sort of issue was a big factor in this decision for the referendum, wasn't it?
It certainly was. I think immigration was quite high on the agenda. I think that's where we saw in the UK a lot of the northern areas, the working class areas, the working class towns, where people did vote to leave, to stop the mass immigration, because there is a belief that the migrants are taking the work from the UK people.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, David, for your time this evening, and wish England and the best of luck going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.